And welcome. This is Mary Ellen McGonagle here with Erin Swenlin each and every Thursday afternoon with the Chartwise Women. This is the show where we share with you our many years of knowledge and experience, and all with an eye toward what we call bridging the gap, bringing you over to the other side, if you will, helping to enlighten you and improve your investing and trading techniques. And Erin, here we are, another volatile week in the markets, and I see you're wearing red. I hope you had a lovely Valentine's Day.
I did indeed. It was lovely. My lovely husband left me a card right on my computer because he knew that's the first place I'd be. And that was lovely. And
Oh, nice. Very
yeah, we
nice.
had a nice steak dinner.
Oh, good, good. Yes, yes. We actually, my husband and I went out as well, had a lovely fish dinner.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. But it's always a good excuse to reconnect. Yeah.
Always, always.
So let's get back to this market. It has been rather dicey. So many cross currents going on. We have geopolitical tensions, of course, and Federal Reserve, inflation fears, interest rate fears, all kinds of fears driving sentiment, and a lot of professionals, ourselves included. It's not a market that is easy to decipher, like really adamantly, unlike when you're in a true bull market or a true bear market. We're just in that middle ground. You might disagree with your work, but just trying to stay on top of it all. So today, yeah, I think we have a great segment, and we are going to be talking about ways that you can capitalize on this volatility. So we can dive right in. Our anchor point is called Nimble Trading During These Volatile Times.
Let's be all
So
nimble.
yes, that's right. And I didn't want to step on you as far as your thoughts on the markets.
You
And
know,
your
it's volatile. I'm of course in the bear market camp. Technically we're not in one. You're supposed to have a 20% decline before you consider the stock or the market in a bear market. But it's our opinion that we're there, that we will experience more downside. And if we don't, I think best case is more of the same, more volatility,
right.
more dizzying rotation. It's just going to be a rough period of time most of this year is what I'm thinking. But
Choppy seas. I can recall
copies,
your presentation years ago at the Stock
yes,
Charts conference, and it was all about, getting your compass out and
yeah.
navigating. So I think we're going to be touching on that today for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's dig right in. Actually, I didn't get too into it, but when we talked about nimble trading during this volatile period, today we are referencing the ability to use intraday charts. This is going to be for people that are more nimble, but if you are not, we are also going to integrate those intraday charts with daily and weekly and really give you a sense of how, if you are inclined, you can make hay, if you will, using those different market chart styles.
Mm-hmm.
And Erin, if you want to get started with your
I
charts.
shall do that. So, are you ready for some charts?
Yes. Oh, and actually, I forgot to share how we are doing this, actually.
Yes.
And it is a something that I do pretty much every morning when I awaken and the markets are open. I take a look at the stockcharts.com, that first interface page, and look at the S&P 500 right at the open, those stocks that are up the most. And this again is going to be for those that are more nimble. You will want the market backdrop to be bullish. And I think you'll be pretty surprised pleasantly with what we're going to share with you today. In addition to individual stock ideas, you can also get your arms around rotation for that day anyway, right? We've been talking
Yes.
about intraday rotation.
It's been
But
pretty
but
crazy.
yeah, so Erin, go right ahead.
All right, so we took the 10 big market intraday movers from yesterday, and we're going to look at all of those. I think we might have a graphic here so you can see the screen that we're going to start going from, which is those 10 market movers. So I'm going to take 5 of those charts, and Mary Ellen's going to take 5 of those charts. And I'm going to give you kind of a sample of what I do in my trading room on how to time the market. You know, we have analysis of the overall market, but when you're ready to get into a stock, market timing, even intraday, can be so helpful and get you in at the right time, and also get you out at the right time, or keep you in. I had a stock yesterday. I was ready to sell. I went to my 5-minute candlestick chart. It said, no, you don't want to sell it yet. And I didn't, and I'm happy I didn't. So I think that it's very helpful. So let's go ahead. I'm going to look at 5 of those charts. And I'm going to start with United Airlines. We did see 2 airlines on that list. Consumer discretionary had a pretty good move, and I noticed industrials were also starting to peak out. So this is the daily chart, and generally I do start with the daily chart once I have my group of stocks that I want to look at. And I do that with my decision point diamonds. Rather than what you showed, that screen, I do a scan, and then I screen all of those stocks using a similar way as I'm going to show you now. So, you know, when you look at the daily chart for United Airlines, a lot of things are going right for it. And yesterday, as you can see, we had that big upside breakout from really a confirmation line of either a triple bottom, if you want to consider it that, or to me, I think it's kind of a complex double bottom, and that's a bullish pattern. So we're getting the breakout above that confirmation line. Obviously, we're seeing a little bit of a pullback today, but yesterday it's really not taking back much of the gains that we did see yesterday. So all of these indicators are looking positive. I think we've talked about this. Relative strength is looking good in airlines. So once I look at a daily chart and I'm pretty, you know, pleased with what I'm seeing, I want to go to my 5-minute candlestick chart. And this is where I do that market timing. And it's really helpful to use this intraday. So you can see right now, it's a very interesting. So what I like to look for on a 5-minute chart, let me get this inspect tool working. So on a 5-minute chart, I use an RSI, my PMO, and on balance volume, just to give me a sense of what the volume pattern is. But what I'm looking for in particular are PMO positive crossovers that occur when that RSI is in that upper part of in positive territory above 50. When I see that, that's my buy point. Now, if I'm looking for a sell point, all I'm going to look for is when that PMO turns over, as soon as I see negative momentum. And like I said, I went to a chart, I was ready to sell, and it looked very similar to this. It had had a pretty big decline, but I was noticing that momentum was starting to build to the upside again. So buy point, crossover for the PMO. We didn't have a positive RSI yet, so we tick over to right here. This would be your buy point on that candlestick somewhere, depending on when you get in that 5 minutes. But that would get you in here. It leaves us with all of this area now for price to come back and test overhead resistance, even though it's had a very difficult day. So that is very helpful. We can also move out into a weekly chart, and that's going to give you kind of a sense of where the stock is overall in the longer term, of course. And you can see that United Airlines, we've got a PMO positive crossover on that weekly PMO, positive RSI. You can see that double bottom I was talking about. We're getting the breakout. And the expectation would be a move up here to test that overhead resistance, which is another 20% to the upside. So certainly looking enticing would be United Airlines. So now that I've given you kind of the basics, let's just go more quickly through these stocks. So Vornado was the other one that I was going to look at. Real estate REITs are starting to see a little bit of love. And this one certainly has. You can see that big bar from yesterday. It was a big market mover. And as you often say, Mary Ellen, winners keep on winning. And this one certainly kept on winning today and still is. But you can see all of those excellent indicators telling us that relative strength looks good. So now I'm going to come over here. Where do I want to get in on this one? So I'm looking at this chart. You can see that we got the positive PMO crossover and the RSI was positive. So your buy point came in here pretty much right on this breakout for today. And it does look like we've got much more upside available based on momentum in any case. All right, we've got a few more here, NCLH. Let's move back into, whoops. We'll move into another. I've got a couple more. So again, we see everything going right on this chart. We have that double bottom. We don't have really the breakout here. We had a failed one and it managed churn on that 200-day, but you can see positive stochastics. So that looks pretty good. I come over here to my 5-minute and I pop that in there and CLH and it. I can't see everything. My screen's kind of covered up. All right, so again, buy point coming in here. The PMO got that positive crossover, and you can see that RSI is positive. That would have gotten you in on this bar, and you're already looking at a pretty good upside move. And again, if you wanted to look at this in a bit longer term, you can throw a weekly chart up there. There's that double bottom and looking pretty good with that weekly PMO turning up. So I don't know if I have time for the rest. You can let me know.
Well, I think, yeah, you can go ahead. One more
Right.
and
I'll do one more and that'll leave you some time.
sure.
Okay, so this is N phase and this is in the solar area. I've noticed some action coming in on solar. If you look at the ETF TAN, you'll get a pretty good picture of that. Man, a great example of why you don't want filled black candlesticks there though, isn't it? So pulled back, but you can see it's holding a nice short-term rising trend. The indicators again are looking fairly positive. And we come over here quickly and we look at this 5-minute, again, buy point coming in here with crossover, positive RSI, that would have gotten you in down here. And again, you'd be getting that intraday move to the upside, but also really putting you in a great place for a longer term investment. So I did have one more, but I don't know if we want to just look at that really quickly. There's HSIC.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, big breakout. So we know winner keeping on winning right here. And here we go with that 5-minute. And again, there's your crossover with the positive RSI. That would have gotten you in back here, which would allow you at least already to have made 0.75% just by timing that entry. So I think that using a 5-minute candlestick for me is just super helpful for my market timing. And like I said, if you look at all 3 time frames, it really gives you a good sense of what time frame you want to be investing in. So if your weekly chart looks good, daily, now you're looking at more intermediate term investment. But I have to say, in volatile times, bear market times, all of your investments should be considered short term. You want to have a tight leash on all of them.
Very good. Okay, so very same principle. We are looking at charts from February 15th on those stocks that were up the most on the open yesterday. So first up, I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of semiconductor stocks. They were on the move yesterday. So first up is Monolithic Power, MPWR. The company came out with numbers. So I'm going to share with you those characteristics that would guide you into the stock. Now, the first part is the fact that the broader markets on the 15th were in a nice strong uptrend. So that bullish backdrop is going to give me more confidence if I'm going to be trading intraday. So this is the open on the 15th. We can see this nice gap up here, big move on the open. We're getting that volume confirmation and then very much in line at the same time, we can see that the RSI turned positive. I'm using a 15-minute chart and I have a 5 and 13-minute uh, I'm sorry, it's a 15-minute segment. So a 5 and a 13 simple moving average. So we talked about that volume. Let's take a look at this MACD. This is a moving average convergence divergence. and it is a momentum indicator. We're looking for that MACD to be above this 50, and then that nice black line up through the red. That is indicating that this near-term pullback has reversed. So we have four very interesting and compelling characteristics. But from here, I do have a rule. I am not going to trade on that first 15-minute bar. I'm going to need to wait for that third bar to print, third or fourth out. And I need to see that particular price be above the high of that first bar. That's going to indicate to me further upside. And of course, from here, we can see that NVIDIA did in fact go on to greater heights. We went from 450 up to 480 before. Actually, let's take a look because this is what Erin and I are talking about. In these volatile times, you are well served toward the end of that day. We did fizzle a bit. That's your sign to get out of that, take your nice profits, and move on to the next day. Now, we also talked about using daily charts. I also like to look at the industry group that it's a part of. So MPWR is a semiconductor stock. We can see this nice double bottom formation. More importantly, yesterday's rally in semis pushed the group above the shorter term simple moving average. Now, we still have work to do for the overall group to turn positive, but by and large, we are above most of those shorter term areas of resistance. And then for MPWR, we can just take a quick look at that daily chart. You will want to have a zoom out, get a bigger picture feel for where the stock is. And yesterday's move did bullishly push MPWR above each of these simple moving averages, which can often act as resistance. The RSI is positive, as was the MACD, certainly had that positive crossover. So I'm getting confidence there as well because that daily chart is constructive. Another name that had a move on the 15th, certainly on the open, another semiconductor stock. This is NVIDIA, of course, a very heavyweight name. Take a look. This is really what I'm sharing with you is the extreme volatility, and I'm sure every one of you are feeling it. Just very quickly going back to this opening here on the 9th, taking advantage of this gap up on the open. But then again, close your positions because the next day it was down and out. But going back to the 15th here, another nice gap up on the open. I'm going to want to see that nice high volume. We can see that the RSI, MACD are both positive. And again, that third bar, that print is above the high of that first 15-minute bar. Now, you can use this same principle on a 5-day if you are thinking, well, I'm not going to wait 45 minutes. This same concept does work there as well. For me, I do feel more comfortable using that 15-minute. We still were ample gains going into the close. And as it relates to whether you should stay with the stock on this pullback, it did continue to find support at this simple moving average here, this 5. So you could stay with it into the close. Your MACD had a crossover, but it was still up here in positive territory. So let's go ahead and I talked about this looking at the backdrop of the industry group. Erin, I know you talked about airline stocks. These travel related stocks were on the move on the 15th. So here we are with a daily chart. Now, this daily chart is not the prettiest. However, it is not down here, down and out, trying to make its way up. We are seeing a little bit in the way of daylight. Would not be my first pick, but it's not the worst looking as it relates to intraday, very nimble type of trading. So let's go ahead down to that 15-minute chart. Take a look at the action here on the open, this gap up. I think you'll hear me repeating myself. Big volume. Your outside momentum indicators are constructive. And again, we want to see the stock, the price print a little bit higher. Now, what I'm sharing with you as well, I talked about being able to go back. I'm not sure if it was earnings related back here earlier in February, but again, taking advantage of that kind of downtrend reversal can really be quite profitable. But
Mhm.
Expedia, another stock that is travel related, and I know that I will need to end it here, but let's just take a quick look at the intraday chart. And also, I'm pointing out these themes because you do want that broader industry group wind behind your sails before getting into some of these stocks. And Expedia, this kind of name from my work would not be as attractive as those semiconductors that I shared with you, only because for the most part, it is not as big of an intraday mover. You will get these big pops on the open, and then it will tend to wobble into the close, unlike the more powerful moves that you're going to see in technology stocks. And I'm going to leave it at that. We are going to take a very brief break and lots more to share. We'll be right back. And welcome back. This is a segment where Erin and I both share our wisdom of the week. And as always, it's going to tie in with our theme. Today's theme is all about being nimble and taking advantage, if you will, of this really pretty extreme volatility that we're experiencing. So, Erin, I'm going to let you share your wisdom of the week first.
All right, my wisdom of the week, I know I always turn, but I want to make sure I read it right. Uncover the real story using different time frames on your chart. As I showed you, we had the daily chart, we looked at a weekly chart, we looked at the 5-minute chart. Mary Ellen's looking at 15-minute charts as well. So by looking at all those time frames, like I said, it gives you a sense of the entire story of that particular stock. Is this a short-term movement? Is this more long-term? So really for me, it's a matter of going through each and every chart. And if you are going to trade in a nimble, very short-term fashion, I think you really need to see all those different time frames to kind of put it together. Make sure you're getting on board a stock that's already starting to make a pretty good move.
Yeah, very good. Absolutely. Yes. And my wisdom of the week is a little more bigger picture. And it's basically when the markets give you lemons, such as this difficult period, sometimes you can make lemonade if you have a plan and if you are nimble and certainly comfortable. For those of you that are newer to investing, you might not have that comfort level with trading intraday, but certainly with the game plans that we shared today, we hope that you'll have that comfort level and take advantage of some of this volatility. It will take that nimbleness. But yes, that
We
is
always
our
talk about paper trading. This is probably a great time if you are a beginner and you want to maybe trade a little bit more often. Start with paper trading, meaning you write it down. Okay, if I bought here, this is what would have happened, and you keep notes, and then you can build some confidence from there.
very good. Yeah. So from here, we are going to share with you our action plan, as we like to say every week, rather than just talk endlessly about different topics. We like to give you a little bit of homework so that you can take this with you and own it and really practice what we're sharing with you today. So, Erin, I think you have an action plan that's going.
Yes, and I think it's really a joint action plan, if you will.
Yes,
So I hold a free trading room on Mondays. And since this Monday is going to be a holiday based on it's going to be President's Day, Mary Ellen has said that she will come into my free trading room on Tuesday, February 22nd, and we will reinforce all of these intraday concepts. And it's really helpful because it's at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. So we'll have had some intraday data. We take symbol requests, so I'll look at the ones that really are interesting to you. And I think you'll really enjoy it. So how do you sign up for that free trading room? Super easy. There'll be a link if you're watching on YouTube in the description for it. If you're watching on StockCharts TV, if you just go to my homepage. So here is where you can sign up. Just go to decisionpoint.com to our homepage, click home, and that's where you'll find this. Of course, I'd love for you to sign up for my free newsletter, but this is where you can register. You just use that register now button. And the lovely thing about this free trading room is it's recurring. So that means you only have to sign up once, and then you're all automatically given information every Monday, an hour before the trading room will be starting. And then of course, if you don't have the opportunity, like some of us, to watch the market all the time and be in that trading room, if you sign up for the trading room, you will get a recording later in the evening. So you can watch that, rewatch if you were there live. So I think that this pretty much it's one of the most important things I think that I do right now is this free trading room. It really introduces everybody to my trading style and gives you at least a little bit of information on if you did want to trade intraday or over, a few days. So I'm very excited to see you in the trading room. It's going to be so much fun
Oh
on
my gosh, yes.
Tuesday.
Bring your party hat. We'll hopefully the markets will
Yes,
be agreeable. But
right.
even on those down days, there is always something.
Always a lot. There's always pockets of strength, as we
You
say.
got it. You got
And
it.
if you like the trading room, my Decision Point Diamonds includes a subscriber only trading room on Friday mornings at the same time, 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern. And that is only for those subscribers to Diamonds. I have a very small room of those subscribers. A lot of regulars have lots of chat between themselves and the different stocks. But this will give you not only those 10 stock picks per week, but you get entrance into that subscriber only Diamond Mine trading room.
Super. And then, yes, we always like to wrap the show up. I think you've done a great job sharing what we do outside of Chartwise Women. For me, I do have a Friday afternoon show called the MEM Edge Show that is very favorably reviewed. I get lots of similar to you, Erin, same people, which I absolutely enjoy. I wrap up the week and share what's going on. And then also, I have my website, MEM Investment Research, where I provide actually, the website is a portal to my biweekly newsletter where I twice a week put out a pretty detailed report that talks about the markets. It tells you whether it's safe to get back in and whether there are pockets of strength, and then more importantly, individual stocks that can benefit from that strength. Oftentimes I'll have well, I do a Sunday and midweek report. Oftentimes I'll do alert reports throughout the week because we are in this very unsettling period. So as different market dynamics emerge, I share that as well. So you can take advantage of a 4-week trial for a very nominal fee. Urge you to do that. Less than a price of a cup of coffee, I like to say. And it really, even if you just do it for those 4 weeks, it's very educational.
And
And
I always say, more than likely you're going to make up your cost of the subscription with one good trade.
absolutely,
So
I
I
do.
think we offer something very inexpensive when you think of it that way.
I've
And then
heard
one
that
of the other
feedback.
things I'm going to mention that I really like that you do, Mary Ellen, is when you do talk about those individual stocks, a lot of times you'll say, okay, it's not ripe yet, we're not ready, but when it gets to this level, if it tests this level and then bounces. So you're also giving information on, what you're looking for when you're getting ready to trade a stock. So I think,
Very good. Yes, I do have an active watch list as well. Super.
mm,
Glad you, yeah, noticed that. Okay. So we are going to wrap it, leave it there. We hope everyone has an incredible long weekend. I think we can all just use a day to regroup, and we look forward to seeing you here again next Thursday afternoon.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.